Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in our top stories today, the 90-day pause has taken effect. Now, of course, we heard the other day there were some rumors. The media was trying to suggest that Trump was going to enact a 90-day pause a couple of days ago, which caused the markets to shoot up. But of course, it was premature and wasn't going to be announced till later. And maybe they saw how the markets reacted, and now they have decided to go with the pause. So from NBC News, Trump temporarily drops tariffs to 10% for most countries, hits China harder with 125%. They're going to be the most difficult to deal with. President Donald Trump on Wednesday dropped new tariff rates on imports from most U.S. trade partners to 10% from 90% to allow trade negotiations with those countries. Trump announced the pause hours after goods from nearly 90 nations became subject to stiffer so-called reciprocal tariffs imposed by the United States. The president also said in a social media post that he was raising the tariffs imposed on imports from China to 125% effective immediately due to lack of respect that China has shown to the world's market. Here's the concern. We get a lot of stuff from China. That includes things like aspirin, our medications, our vitamins, goods. Remember during COVID, the issue with masks and even the concerns about medications and vaccines? Because of so many of the labs and facilities there in China that produce these things. And this is part of why the tariffs are there, is to get these companies to come back to the United States. And we've already seen that Apple is also doing that because they were really big in China. China, which is the U.S.'s third largest trading partner, earlier Wednesday said it would increase its tariffs rate for imports from the U.S. to 84%. Trump said more than 75 countries contacted U.S. officials to negotiate after he unveiled his new tariffs last week, and that's true. They have contacted him, and we'll see a little bit more of what NBC had to say here.
And we are coming on the air tonight, right now with breaking news. President Trump now says he will implement a 90-day pause on tariffs on imports from more than 75 countries, but notably not for China. The president also saying that he will raise the tariff on Chinese imports now up to 125%. The market's already reacting positively to the news, with the Dow surging more than 2,000 points and climbing. We're going to stay watching that. But first, I want to go straight to our senior White House correspondent, 𝐀𝐦𝐻𝐥𝐢𝐚𝐭𝐞. Garrett, tell our viewers what you know so far about this decision by the president.
Yeah, Tom, it's an extraordinary bit of governing by social media posts. Less than a day after these tariffs, global in nature, went into effect on trading partners around the world, the president says he is pausing or substantially reducing most of them. A 90-day pause. His language is unclear, but it suggests that for most countries, the 75 or so who've either reached out to him or not retaliated against the United States since his tariff order will see their tariffs either paused for 90 days or reduced to that 10% flat rate for that time.
Yeah, I don't know what the confusion is because it's right here. Tariff charge to China by the United States of America, 125% effective immediately. And then China will realize that the days of ripping off the United States and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Department of Commerce, Treasury, and the United States Trade Representatives, to negotiate a solution to subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States. I've authorized a 90-day pause. So, I mean, I don't know what the confusion is that he's talking about here, because, it's pretty clear. And, of course, the market's absolutely surging, absolutely going up. And as I said the other day, there was that rumor that there was going to be a 90-day pause, and it wasn't really, perhaps it wasn't ready to be released. Maybe some insider got some information that this was going to happen, that Trump was just allowing for a couple more days to see how many countries would respond to him. And then, of course, he did introduce the 90-day pause except for China. But it's been very interesting to see the market fluctuation and the changes that we have seen from the various countries and their responses. For example, here, and we know Vietnam, Israel have lowered theirs to 0, or their tariffs are now at 0. Maybe some other countries are going to do that. Of course, we heard from the EU as well that they were considering these negotiations too. So Trump is getting what he wanted. That was the attention that he wanted, for people to pay attention to what was going on with these tariffs. And I agree with him. Some of the tariffs that we were paying were absolutely ridiculous. This had to be done, as some people call it, the Great Reset. It created a lot of strife and turmoil. And, of course, with the media being the media, they had to jump on these opportunities anytime they could to try to, obviously disparage Donald Trump. But things are turning around. It's a big day. I haven't looked around throughout other parts of the media to see how excited and enthusiastic they are about the markets going up, because they'll probably just avoid it and move on to something else. As a matter of fact, I saw something to the effect they're still dealing with Tesla. There was some information about Tesla. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank all of you across New Tech, that's BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, and even those on TikTok for your guys' continued support. It's been an amazing 2025, hasn't it? It has been a roller coaster, and we have many more years to go, as it were. But I want to thank all of you guys here on YouTube as well for your guys' continued support. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X and TikTok down below, so you guys can follow me there. It would be greatly appreciated. And, of course, for those of you who order frequently from Amazon or a Prime member, I have my landing page link down below. You guys can use that. And your privacy is protected. It does help out the channel. And, of course, speaking of privacy, I have my favorite VPN, my virtual private network, Trust Zone, down there as well. They have been fantastic, especially in these times now today where we're trying to get deals, or maybe if you have subscriptions to Netflix or other services, you can actually log into other areas or other regions or other countries and see those shows there in those areas, which a lot of people do. So those are kind of the things that you can do with a VPN. A lot of really neat things that you can do with one. And the pricing is great, and the service is fantastic. So if you guys are interested in VPN, certainly Trust Zone is one of my favorites. And but I do want to thank all of you guys here on YouTube for your guys' continued support, the likes, the shares, and the comments. And, of course, you see I'm posting the shorts as well as community posts on the channel. So thank you guys for responding and engaging on those, and I'll catch you up on those on Friday. I'll go over some of those posts there for you guys. But nonetheless, appearing there on the screen for all of you who are watching on YouTube, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.